Kratos questions Fikamer, "What are you doing here?" But before Fikamer can utter a word, Kratos hits him. And Zeph asks why Kratos is hitting him before he even has the chance to answer. Kratos states, "It looked like he was trying to hide something, and beating someone up is the most efficient way to deal with that." Fikamer is not surprised by the Demon Lord's actions. However, he, Fikamer, will not speak so easily. Again, before he can finish his sentence, Kratos uses his own version of Goma Goma no Gatling on Fikamer until he gets tired and stops. The system informs him to use HP to purchase various stats. The system shows him that he possesses HP, 51. Kratos uses 50 HP to upgrade his stamina. Stamina increases from 20% to 30%. And before Fikamer can even say another word, he is beaten up again. But he finally decides that he will talk and be honest about everything. Fikamer explains that he was ordered to mess the farmland up in order to starve all the demons. Later, back at the Demon Lord's castle, they figure out that Saruthal was the one who cut off the requests for reinforcements. Kratos understands why Saruthal would do all this, since he only becomes stronger when more demons are starving. Zeph tells him, this is an act of revolution. And this might be a chance. If we take down the first Star Master Saruthal, the demons who were complaining because of the suspension of the expedition will take it as a warning. But Kratos thinks, even if that wasn't an issue, they'll keep getting in the way of my farming if I just leave them be. I need a surefire way to deal with them. Zeph then tells Kratos that the main problem would be how to defeat Saruthal. He's a ghost. Kratos responds, yes, he has the ability to turn his body like that of a ghost. Even in the game, Saruthal was all over the place in the Cliff of the Dead, which is already a complicated map. So the entire stage was like a game of hide and seek with him. If it's too hard to kill pests because they hide, then you have to pull the pests out of their nest. Back on the field, the little girl is looking at the living scarecrow, Azurat, who angrily asks, "What are you looking at?" The little girl shyly tells him that she heard it's thanks to his sacrifice that they now have food, so she is here to say thank you to him. Azurat becomes furious and asks, "How dare you mock me, Azurat? I'm going to kill a damned brat like you." The girl gets scared and runs away screaming for help. Azurat then promises to go find and kill Kratos the moment he is free from the rod. Suddenly, Azurat hears people singing and chanting a few distances away. He assumes it is Kratos. In the distance, we see the silhouette of the Demon Lord Kratos and the villagers coming toward the farm. We also see Fikamer on a rod and the villagers holding a banner that says, "Congrats. Second lightning rod in the office." As Kratos and the villagers dance and sing while approaching Azurat, he thinks that there is finally a second lightning rod, so that means he is free now. He starts to cry and says to himself that now, he won't have to become a rotisserie chicken all day and night. But to his dismay, Kratos plants the second scarecrow right next to him instead of replacing him. I mean, why have one lightning rod when two is even better? Without wasting any time, Kratos releases his strike attack on them. And Azurat, who at this point has accepted his fate, realizes that when Kratos said, "second lightning rod," he meant that there are two lightning rods now. As Kratos continues his barrage of attacks, Saruthal, who is watching the whole time through a crystal ball like some kind of fortune teller, gets sad about what Kratos is doing to his loyal confidant, Fikamer. As Demon Lord, Kratos continues to strike Fikamer. Saruthal weeps for his subordinate, he wonders how painful it must be. But the sadistic Demon Lord, Kratos still doesn't stop and continues to attack Fikamer, who growls in pain. Saruthal, who is watching through the crystal ball, begs Kratos to stop. Kratos glances at a strange creature with a crystal ball in its hands. He knows that, the bird is a reconnaissance wraith from the game. Looks like someone is keeping a close watch on them. The Demon Lord gets angry at the thought of someone trying to ruin his harvest, he will surely make them regret it. After some time passes, as the little girl is busy trying to farm, Azurette silently stares at her. He then asks the little girl what she is doing, to which she explains that, since the Demon Lord, the 4 heavenly generals, and all the adults are working hard on farming, she wants to help as much as possible. Azurette calls her a stupid demon brat and tells her that Fikama and the Wraiths already plowed the fields, so she should at least do something useful. The little girl thanks Fikama for plowing the fields and becoming a lightning rod for them to farm successfully. Fikama becomes happy, calls her a cutie, and tells her that she made all his hard work worth it. Azurette asks Fikama if he is already losing his mind. He asks what is the big deal with plowing the land of death anyway, farming in this wasteland is not even possible. That damn potato or whatever they're trying to grow. It's not even sprouting. They say if you keep the potato storage warm, sprouts will grow quickly. But they're all going to starve to death anyway. The little girl thanks them and starts running somewhere. As she leaves, Azurette wonders what the little girl can do. Back at the Demon Lord's castle, Zeph is concerned about the Demon Lord's plan, since Saruthel must know that torturing Fikama is a trap. So will he really come to rescue him even then? Kratos is convinced he will not. But first, he will send his subordinates. If they want that idiot to come out, they'll need to eliminate every single one of his subordinates first. He then orders for none of them to be left alive when they attack the fields at night. At night, while Ball is guarding Fikama with the other farmers, Saruthel, who is watching them through the crystal ball, calls Kratos a fool for thinking that just waiting around, ready to attack, will make his subordinates appear. While it's unfortunate for Fikama who was captured, Saruthel has only one true goal, which is to ruin the harvest. Saruthel sends his crop wraiths to go and attack the barn, where the potatoes are. The lizard-like ghosts quickly advance towards the barn. To crush and trample the potatoes to oblivion by orders of their master, Saruthel. As soon as they enter the barn, Kratos, who was expecting them, shows himself. This revelation frightens the crop wraiths. Kratos tells them that he knew the crop wraiths would appear here. Kratos, with a scary look, welcomes them to their grave. He remembers the time he used to play the game. The first time he encountered these crop wraiths in the game, he felt pure despair. Saruthel's second elite force. The real problem is that they always move in swarms. If they even touch you physically, they'll latch onto you and rapidly age you. Not to mention, they copy skills you have equipped. They're a complete nuisance. But Kratos is calm about this because there is a way to wipe them out. Which is to attack them with lightning-based items. Kratos scratches his hand and asks who wants to be the first to be fried. The crop wraiths realize it was a trap and decide to escape. But Kratos wouldn't let them escape since the real trap is what comes next. The barn doors close and the wraiths see blood all over the barn. Turns out, the Demon Lord had smeared his blood all over the barn last night. And now he plans to use Kratos's Phase 2 ability. He touches the floor with Bloody Strike, and the entire barn becomes electrically charged, stopping the crop wraiths from escaping and shocking them. This attack is called Wide Area Bloody Strike. Kratos yells for farm guards to know that now they can attack the crop wraiths with physical attacks. The farm guards rush into the barn with farming tools, ready to attack the now scared crop wraiths. Kratos knows the farm guards may look unimpressive, but in the game, they're the strongest units in the final map. So the weakened crop wraiths are nothing to them. As the farm guards beat up the crop wraiths, Kratos feels happy. He thinks he is like a ruthless, smart alpha demon king, and maybe he actually fits well in this world. When he spots a wraith that hasn't been fried yet, he quickly jumps to zap it and finish it off personally. He is surprised when he hears a scream behind him. He turns and finds the little girl hiding inside the potatoes. He is honestly surprised and wonders when she got in there. One of the wraiths also spots her and decides to attack her. The girl's father gets scared to see this, but Kratos quickly picks up a potato and throws it towards the wraith since his attack, Bloody Strike, won't reach that far. As the potato approaches the wraith who is about to attack the little girl, Kratos wonders what he even expects to achieve by throwing a potato. As soon as the potato makes contact with the wraith, it begins to absorb the confused wraith and successfully transforms into a sprout. It falls next to the little girl. The rest of the wraiths are able to flee the barn. Kratos walks towards the sprout to check it out. He quickly realizes that the wraith's aging ability has jump-started the stalled biological clock of the potatoes. Kratos digs up the little girl from the potatoes, and with a terrifying smile, he congrats the little girl for doing a good job. This act only terrifies the girl. Kratos then calls out the farm guards and tells them that from this moment on, they should forget luring out Saruthal. He picks up a potato and explains that, from now on, they will be going on the offensive. That'll benefit them more. The next morning, Azurat seems to be having an existential crisis from being a lightning rod for too long. He stares at the beautiful sun before him and is just grateful to face it. His stomach growls since he hasn't eaten in days. Someone then calls Azurat from below, to which he turns to look and sees the little girl. The girl thanks Azurat for his advice on the potato sprouts, and as a sign of gratitude, she brings him a ton of chuno. To which his eyes widen in surprise. She explains that Kratos gathered a lot of farmer guards and went off to sprout potatoes. Azurat could care less about what Kratos is up to when he is hungry. He begins to frantically move his head, and the little girl decides to throw the food at him. But her first attempt hits him in the eye. And he threatens to kill the girl again. But she throws a few more and one of them ends up in his mouth. The system notifies Kratos that a part of his demon army feels happy from eating, to which 1 HP is then added, bringing his total to 302 HP. Kratos wonders about who he is receiving the HP from. But honestly, he doesn't mind, since the more HP, the better. He will need to save it for the Saruthal raid. He then commanded the farmer guards to advance for a bountiful harvest. We see that Kratos is moving towards a bridge to get to Saruthal's territory. The wraiths quickly decide to cut off the bridge to stop Kratos and his forces. As the bridge falls, they decide to mock Kratos and ask what he will do now without a bridge. The next moment, Kratos is in the air, right in front of them, leaving the wraiths shocked. But he then begins to fall and the wraiths laugh at how stupid Kratos is, for jumping down to his death. Only to be shocked, when they see him in the wall, with his head and plump cheeks out. Before they can fully comprehend the situation, he turns and starts moving upward toward them at an alarming speed. Kratos manages to reach the entrance and the wraiths run away scared of this weird pervert. Kratos gives Zeph the sign to do as they planned ahead of time. And begins to sprint inside the building. He thinks that, according to his brilliant strategic plan, the crop wraiths should be terrified of the potatoes, but if he charges in all alone and unarmed, they might attack. Saruthal gets excited that Kratos is all alone and without the cursed potatoes, so he orders the crop wraiths to attack. Even just grazing Kratos means victory for them. The crop wraiths try to attack Kratos, but he uses his secret technique, the quantum leap move, to get past them and disappears into the wall. The crop wraiths discuss how creepy that move is. One points out that he is upstairs. They relentlessly chase after Kratos, trying to catch him, but they fail every time since Kratos keeps disappearing from time to time with his secret technique. As Kratos is escaping the pursuing wraiths, he knows that this is the 19th time he has done this, so he knows every corner of this map. He knows all the areas where enemies appear. He finally stops at a point and is immediately surrounded by all the wraiths. Kratos just stands there calmly. The wraiths move in for the attack while mocking the demon lord for being tired. Kratos tells them that he is not a demon lord right now but a veteran player. Suddenly, Zeph shouts for the farmer guards to throw the potatoes at the crop wraiths. The potatoes begin to sprout the moment they make contact with the wraiths. Kratos can finally rest because the job is done. Zeph thinks he was unsure at first, but it turns out the demon lord's words were spot on once again. He recalls the time the demon lord was explaining his plan to him. He told Zeph that he would go inside first and gather the wraiths in one place, so Zeph should lead the farmer guards and follow the map. Zeph told Kratos that the map leads to a dead end, and likely there's nothing there. But Kratos smiles and tells him that there is a secret shortcut there. Kratos recalls the time when he played the game, after escaping the horrifying cliff of the dead, right before reaching the final map. He scoured the area and found it. There's nothing there yet. It's made with such detail, and he thought, why is the texture different there? So he tried to attack it and found a secret path. That's how the places were connected. The tunnel connects the place where he had his first battle with Saruthal to this cave. Also, one could obtain the elixir of metamorphosis there. The elixir of metamorphosis is a compressed soul of countless dead meat piles. It can only be consumed once, but who knows what might happen. In the present, the farmer guards are happy to obtain sprouts that they can plant. The little girl's father is happy that they can now eat their fill. Kratos remains silent, and he remembers the face of an old woman from his past life as Jangxiol. He remembers when she asked him if he was starving and promised to let him have a full dinner that night. But sometime later, as he returned from school, he saw an ambulance taking her away. In the present, the demon lord tells the farmer guards that anyone who tries to get in the way of them finally eating will be completely wrecked. Baal calls Kratos from behind and tells him that Saruthal is strong, so he wants to help too. Kratos tells him to just carry the potatoes and leave this job to him. At the place where the great heart of the ice spirit is, Saruthal is seen asking the ice spirit to bind and defeat more spirits with its mighty cold. And grant him more troops and power. But he is suddenly kicked into the ground by the demon lord, Kratos. Saruthal asks him how he got there so quickly, and Kratos responds that it's none of his business. He cracks his knuckles and tells Saruthal that it's time to exterminate pests like him. Kratos stands face to face with Saruthal. Saruthal calls Kratos a fool for coming alone, and if he honestly thinks he could defeat him alone. He then begins to transform and tells Kratos that he has not seen his true power. But Kratos, who has played the game before, has already seen it before. In fact, he has seen it 19 times. In the game, while chasing Saruthal, who keeps fleeing through the cliffs, he ends up constantly encountering Saruthal's subordinates, and by the end, he practically wiped out all the cliff mobs. Then Saruthal flees into this room where the heart of the ice spirit lies. It's a terrifying artifact said to be created by the ancient dragon at the cost of its life. A chilling frost that traps dead spirits in the world. Saruthal tries to summon more followers using that power, but the paladin arrives just in time, and the final battle begins. He uses his true ability by then. Kratos stands there waiting for Saruthal to finish his ultimate transformation so he can fight him. Saruthal says that he is strong, which is why he will win this battle. Kratos explains that Saruthal's ultimate is to perfectly copy his opponent's stats and materialize them. This is the endgame. At this point, he has the same stats as his character, which are at their peak. With insane attack power and a nearly broken evasion skill, just one mistake and you're instantly dead. However, the stats he copied are from the current Demon King Kratos, who isn't strong anymore. As Saruthal moves to attack, Kratos uses the system to purchase various stat upgrades. With his current HP of 302, he uses 50 HP to upgrade dexterity from 20% to 30%. When Saruthal, the fake Kratos, attacks, Kratos dodges that attack quite easily to the shock of Saruthal. Kratos quickly counters with a right hook to fake Kratos' stomach. Before fake Kratos can throw a left jab, Kratos uses 50 HP to upgrade physical strength from 20% to 30%. And meets the punch with his own punch. This leaves fake Kratos in pain, to which he asks why Kratos is perfectly fine. Kratos smugly tells him that farming requires a brain too. Fake Kratos decide to use Bloody Strike. But again Kratos uses 100 HP to upgrade magic power and mental strength from 20% to 30% each. They both release Bloody Strike on each other, but fake Kratos becomes shocked when he is outmatched by his opponent and shocked. This final attack completely undoes the transformation and Saruthal melts to the ground before Kratos. The system informs Kratos that he has used HP to upgrade all his stats by 1 tier. Stamina is 30%, mental strength is 30%, physical strength is 30%, dexterity is 30%, and magic power is 30%. Kratos is stunned to see this, and the system continues to inform him that the growth quest, level up all stats, has been achieved. As a reward, the new skill, Summon Farmer's Throne, is unlocked, and can be unlocked as 100 HP. The Tune of a Farmer King is equipped with a variety of sturdy farming tools. Kratos is pleasantly surprised by this since he actually needed some new gear. The melted Saruthal calls Kratos and asks if he thinks it is over yet. Nope, there is always a phase 2 in the second half of a fight, Kratos says to Saruthal. Saruthal transforms into his origin. The form of the ancient evil dragon. Kratos says seeing this form in person actually looks insane, the attack power and HP pool are no joke. Well, he is the boss of the final area before the last boss after all. But you know what, Kratos smiles at Saruthal, and then Ball kicks down the door of the room. Kratos with his whole squad behind him, tells Saruthal that he just came from the final boss zone himself. So what now? Saruthal becomes scared after seeing the angry faces of the farmer guards and asks if they are talking about this first. Everyone gangs up on Saruthal to harvest him too. The farmer guard strikes Saruthal with farming tools, and they question him on why he dares to interfere with their farming. The poor guy pleads for mercy, falls on deaf ears. Kratos thinks he could probably beat him if he fought him head-on, but it talks and moves. It kinda doesn't feel right to kill it myself, but maybe everyone's still too hungry to fight. They've been beating it up for a while, and he still won't die. Kratos decides to beat him more efficiently, so he uses 100 HP to summon the farmer's throne, leaving him with 2 HP. The sky opens up on the cliff of the dead. And the throne of the farmer descends straight from the heavens. The throne was summoned directly above Saruthal, and seconds later, it crashed down on him. Kratos is stunned by this. Everyone else is also stunned to see the throne land on Saruthal. But they all begin to celebrate the demon lord's ruthlessness. One says, as expected of the demon lord. He didn't just let him die, he had to finish him off with a final blow, too. Another demon calls him a true villain. They praise the demon lord for being a brutal savage. Kratos just stared at them silently, but some seconds later, he is like, fuck it, and shouts to celebrate with the farmer guards. Back on the field, lightning rod number 2 begins to ascend since his master died tragically. Now all the fields are plowed, the potato sprouts have emerged, and Kratos has gotten rid of all the pests threatening the harvest. Now then, it's time to plant the potatoes. The ice spirit crystal suddenly starts shaking. Kratos turns to look at it. The system informs him that, the mission, defeat Saruthal on the cliff of the dead, 20 attempts completed. Kratos wonders if he resumed from his 19 tries in the game. The system tells him that as a reward, a hidden event has been triggered. A sealed origin trapped within the heart of the ice spirit has awakened from misuse. The heart begins to slowly open and Kratos approaches it to check it out. A baby blue dragon pops out of it. Kratos is confused for a moment. Both he and the dragon stare at each other and the dragon says, T-bone. As Kratos gets close to the dragon wonders if Kratos is his daddy. Kratos moves his arms to pick up the dragon, who seems to be happy by that. The dragon explains that it hatched from its egg, and it was dark all around him. He was so scared, but now his daddy finally found him. Kratos with his signature look, calls the dragon cute. The dragon instantly becomes terrified. Kratos and his subordinates leave the cliff of the dead and make their way back to the land of death. The farmer guards are excited to eat the baby dragon, but Kratos shuts down that idea by telling them that they will have to raise it first to get more out of it. The baby dragon starts to shed tears upon realizing that his precious daddy is planning to eat him. After some time, they get to the land of death and the rest of the villagers welcome them back. Flute, the little girl welcomes her father and other people welcome their relatives. The baby dragon can feel a warm energy from everyone there. And just as he thinks the demons are not scary at all, it looks at Kratos, making another scary face, and takes back its words. In the demon lord's castle, the baby dragon is trampling in fear in one corner of the room. It turns to find Kratos, looking as charming as ever. The dragon thinks that they are just waiting for him to grow up, so they can have a feast with him as the main course. But contrary to the dragon's beliefs, despite Kratos's charming looks, he is actually a caring daddy and he is just thinking about what to feed the baby. He heard baby dragons eat refined gemstones. But there's not a single jewel here. Only heaps of rusty old metal. Zeph comes to report to the demon lord, and as expected they're facing difficulties building the ridges. Kratos is not at all surprised by this. To plant crops properly, one needs to build ridges. Or mounded earth along the boundaries of fields or paddies. Naturally, this requires pure soil only. But this land is full of rocks. The farmers struggle to use pickaxe and digging is impossible since more rocks keep popping up. The baby dragon thinks they are all just slaves and very soon he will be worked to death like the rest of them. Kratos thinks that this isn't a field but rather feels more like a coal mine. At this rate, it'll take forever just to clear the rocks, and if they keep using this much manpower every day, they'll run out of the chunos they prepared as rewards quickly. Even if they get reinforcements from the other lords, this problem won't go away. If only he could be like the main character of some other comic that can summon a familiar or something. Like a wombat that clears rocks or whatever. That'd be nice. Kratos sees the little girl working hard. The little girl is seriously determined to farm. Kratos then looks away and decides to stop whining. He has to find a way to fix this somehow. That's what a never-ending series of unpredictable problems is. Before he could finish his sentence, someone yells that razor winds are coming. Kratos is alarmed by this. He looks up and sees a tornado heading towards them. As it approaches, it turns out Kratos had forgotten about that. This vast wasteland sometimes spawns razor wind events at random. If one gets caught in it, they will be shredded to pieces in an instant. Kratos commands everyone to take cover and hide behind the rocks. They should quickly get under something that creates shade. They should get down and go as low as they can. As Kratos rushes to take shelter, he thinks that, even from this far away, the wind pressure is already insane. What he felt in the game was nothing compared to this. Natural disaster. In fact, this is the biggest threat to farming. As everyone is rushing to take shelter, the little girl is running towards the razor wind. Kratos notices her and turns to see where she's going. The girl runs towards Azurat, and as her father tries to go after the little brat, Kratos hands the baby dragon to the man and runs to go and save the brat. He tells the man to protect the baby dragon and warns that he will kill anyone who follows him. Baal tells Kratos that, it's too dangerous out there, if he goes in there, he could die. Kratos already knows that, but he can't afford to lose his precious lightning rod or laborer. Farming isn't some laid-back, therapeutic activity where one can just chill and pick apples and pears. Azurat yells at the brat to get away from here because she can't move the rod. Kratos comes to the rescue as the tornado approaches the brat and Azurat. He tells the brat to get out of the way, but before she can move, Kratos kicks down the rod and Azurat comes rushing down face first next to the brat. The wind begins to cut Kratos and the brat, who is trying to unbind Azurat. Azurat tells the brat that binding knot is something even one of the 4 heavenly kings can't undo. She will never be able to untie that, so she should just get out of here already. Kratos picks up the brat and his lightning rod together. The baby dragon can feel Kratos' strength and knows is not that sturdy. Kratos yells out in pain and begins to run to safety. The baby dragon is impressed that, despite Kratos' weak strength, he still goes that far to help people. As Kratos runs to safety, the strong wind manages to bring him down to his knees, he falls and drops the lightning rod. The baby dragon then moves into action by freeing itself from the brat's father because he wants to save his daddy, who is a kind creature in his eyes now. The baby dragon flies towards the tornado, takes a deep breath, and releases an icy breath towards the tornado to save Kratos. Kratos realizes that the razor winds have weakened, and he wonders if the baby dragon used cold energy to weaken the upward drafts. As the baby dragon continues to release cold energy, Kratos thinks this is too much for him and then he passes out. Sometime later, as the winds get weaker, Zeph, the brat's father, and Baal go in to rescue Kratos and the rest.
After some time had passed, back in the Demon Lord's castle, Kratos was lying on his bed. Two people approached the Demon Lord's room. The two people turn out to be Hartok and Sergei. Hartok decides that, while the Demon Lord, Kratos, is down right now, he will cut off his head, and then Sergei will take out those idiots, Baal and Azurat. After that, one of them will become the new Demon Lord. So until then, they will be allies. They open the door to Kratos' room, and they head to his bedside, ready to assassinate Kratos. As they raise their hands ready to strike, they are completely horrified by what they see. Kratos, the almighty Demon Lord, looks like he came straight out of a horror movie. The two became terrified. They think Kratos was waiting for them with both eyes wide open. But since this is their only chance, they muster up the courage to attack. Before the attack lands, someone asks them, "What do you think you are doing?" Baal and Azurat appear next to the entrance to Kratos' room. Baal tells them that the Demon Lord is sleeping, so they should not disturb him. Hartok and Sergei wonder if that is supposed to be the face of a sleeping person. No wonder he's the Demon Lord. Baal then warned the two that, if they woke Kratos up, he wouldn't let them off. Hartok says to Azurat that he gets the dumb muscle head acting like this, but he never expected him to be siding with the Demon Lord who wants them to become farmers. Azurat explains that that is not the case. He owes his life to the Demon Lord for saving him earlier. He is just paying back that one debt. Next time, he'll be on their side instead. Hartok calls them stupid for not realizing that. Just planting potatoes has brought them a ton of problems. The crops will fail, and they will all starve to death. Is that so beyond them? Azurat recalls the time when he saw the little girl, Flute, working so hard that even her palms were sore. He confidently declares that to not starve, you have to put your life on the line. Honestly, he would prefer to risk his life fighting, but this is also not bad. Hartok and Sergei become annoyed by this, and Hartok tells them that they will regret this decision later. Both he and Sergei exit the Demon Lord's room. Kratos finally wakes up, and upon seeing Azurat, he calls him the smug bastard who thinks he is about to be praised by Kratos, tells him he was not siding with Kratos, he was just repaying his debt this time. Without letting him finish, Kratos asks why the hell is his living lightning rod walking around talking like it's normal. Azurat is so shocked by Kratos' ruthlessness, without wasting any moment. Another bloody strike is released onto him by Kratos. He was once again stripped and carried back to the fields. Kratos tells Baal to mobilize everyone and continue clearing the rubble since they don't have time to waste, and Baal tells him the rocks are almost all gone. Zeph is stacking them right now as they speak. Kratos is honestly surprised to know this. As they get to the farmland, he sees everyone working diligently. He calls Zeph and asks where he put all the rocks, and Zeph points at the baby dragon in the distance. The baby dragon seems to be shoving smaller rocks down its mouth and eating them. It thinks it was too small to block the razor winds the last time, but it will eat everything without being picky so that it can grow up faster. Kratos comes and calls to the baby dragon, and it quickly rushes to its dad's arms. Kratos knows that razor winds don't come often. It takes time for them to build up. If the baby dragon, T-Bone, keeps watch from the sky and fires cold air at the right time, they can stop the razor winds in advance. It's a pain, but here, without any weather forecasts, they basically have no choice. The fields are almost ready, so now it's time to take care of the potatoes. Zeph tells Kratos that the reward stockpile of Chino is running out. Should they make more? Kratos tells him there's no need. Kratos thinks that the first enemy of farming is natural disaster, and the second is costs. They're walls they'll have to overcome. At the castle, inside Sergei's room, she takes off her helmet, and oh my god, she is an absolute beauty. It looks like we have found the first waifu of the story. She notices that the manure stench has still not gone away, even though she hasn't been to the field in days. Kratos suddenly knocks on her door and asks to speak with her. Sergei is confused since Kratos has never come to her room before. She says that she has nothing to say to him. But Kratos pleads for her to open the door cause he really needs her help. She then tells him to avoid saying anything misleading, but Kratos still insists and says not seeing each other's faces is how misunderstandings arise. She tells him to go away, but he still insists on coming in. When Sergei turns to tell him off, she gets the shit scared out of her, and Kratos is literally coming into her room by passing through the closed door. Kratos walks towards Sergei, who is questioning him on why he barged into a lady's room without permission. Kratos goes down on one knee and proposes to her. No, I'm just kidding. She is confused by his action, and Kratos says to her that without her, he can't do anything. She becomes stunned for a moment, but then she starts to blush. Kratos thinks, for as long as he can save costs, he will kneel all she wants. Cause right now, he needs her sharp and precise blade. She starts twisting her hair like a girl in love and tells him that she will at least listen to what he wants to say. Kratos honestly thinks this situation got weird fast. Has she completely lost it? This is ridiculous. Later they head to the barn where the potatoes are, and Kratos is ruthless as ever tells her to cut up the potatoes for him. They have to cut them in half to plant them. Sergei is dumbfounded for a moment before she realizes that she has been played by this son of a bitch. He explains to her that the work is simple. Don't cut the ones with 3 or fewer sprouts, but if it's over 4, cut it. Also, make sure the number of sprouts is evenly distributed on both sides when cutting. All right, it's really easy. Here comes the potato. Sergei angrily screams out that she never said she would do it. But Kratos ignores her and throws the potato sprout at her. She gets into a stance and immediately starts slicing and dicing the potato sprout into pieces. Kratos is amazed by her ability. He wonders how she cuts so accurately. He turns to her and happily says, "You are the only one that can do this." Sergei starts blushing before she angrily says to him, "You liar, villain, swindler." Kratos gets close to her and she becomes scared again. He holds her hand and she blushes again and wonders what's going on. Kratos takes out his handkerchief and starts cleaning her blade until it is sparkling clean. She wonders what he's doing right now. Kratos tells her that the potato juice got on her blade, so he decided to wipe it off. Sergei thinks he might be crazy. Why is he acting like this? And what is with those eyes of his? They're so sincere, warm, and deep. While this girl thinks that this is the most romantic thing anyone has ever done for her, Kratos, on the other hand, just sees her as a useful slicing machine. He thinks that if he doesn't clean the blade well, disease will spread through the potatoes, so he has to clean it thoroughly and sincerely. He faces her and tells her that she is the only one that can do this. He thinks a demon who can cut these potatoes and is helping him save Chino is very useful. Sergei, who's blushing, tells him that she will help him just this once. She thinks that she will help him just this once because he just can't do anything without her. What a silly demon lord. Kratos tells her that he will go bring boiling water and cloth too. They will be cutting them all night together. Sergei thinks Kratos is way too excited for the upcoming event. What a fool. They continue to cut up the potatoes. Hartok watches the two lovebirds working together diligently. Kratos cheers on Sergei as she continues to work. Hartok becomes furious and thinks Sergei has become one of the dumb inferior ones too, volunteering for servitude just after a few compliments. The scene changes, and the living lightning rod, Azurat, starts to have another existential crisis again about the true meaning of life and if a life of suffering is truly worth living. The little girl, Flute, comes to him again and tells him that the elders have saved up some Chino for him, so they should play some Chino throwing game. Azurat tries to tell the little brat that he, the great demon general, will not play such a game with a low demon like her, and will eat her alive when he comes down. Before he could finish speaking, the little brat throws food at him. He gets mad at her for not throwing it right into his mouth. He tells her he will kill her if she doesn't throw it well. As the two are having fun, Hartok watches them silently and thinks that Azurat is completely out of commission after being beaten like a fool and is now a total wreck. Hartok gets distracted as Credos comes to the farm and tells the farmer corps to plant the potatoes in their field. Hartok thinks Ball was dumb from the start, so Hartok had no expectations from him, and everyone's intelligence is below average. The farmers thank Lady Sergi for cutting down the potatoes for them. She shyly tells them to shut up, and that she didn't do it for their sake. Hartok thinks that there's something wrong with her. She's one of the great demon generals, and she is making that dopey face. He thinks all the demons should be ashamed for crying over potato seeds. He gets angry at all these idiots and vows that Hartok, the intellect of the demon world, will steal the demon lord's throne. Credos instructs the farmers to keep planting while they listen. The potato sprout will soon grow and poke above the soil, and they will begin thinning the buds. Ball tells him he is good at cutting things up, but Credos tells him to shut up. He explains each seed potato can have as few as 3 sprouts and as many as 5 sprouts. He then asks a question, which is better, fewer or more sprouts? Everybody yells more is better. He tells them that they are all wrong and that few is better. Hartok, who's standing nearby, thinks they are all pathetic. Why are they studying these kinds of stuff? 2 demons beside him ask each other that isn't more better than a few. He gets angry at them and calls them inferior morons. He tells them that they should think about a little. If there are too many sprouts, they'll steal nutrients from each other, and the potatoes that they will eat will get fewer nutrients. Credos, who hears him, is shocked, as he got it accurately, and asks Hartok if he has farmed before. Hartok tells him it's just common sense that sprouts and potatoes share nutrients. Isn't that obvious? The stunned Credos asks, so how many sprouts will be ideal? Hartok reluctantly answers that too is the obvious answer. If they think only of nutrient loss, they might assume 1 is ideal, but if that 1 breaks, the root dies as well. Credos asks Hartok, after the bud thinning there is a lot to do, what does he think that is? Hartok explains that they have created artificially healthy soil, tilted the soil, and improved the compose. That kind of soil will not benefit just the potatoes. Unwanted weeds will grow as well, stealing nutrients, and they would have to uproot that. They could have gotten that with a little thinking. Credos and the demon generals are shocked. Credos calls for a round of applause for Hartok, the true genius of the demons. The demons begin to applaud and chant out genius, genius. Hartok, who is frustrated by this, at first reflects on his own life. His mom called him dumb. He starts to cry and wonders why he is crying like an idiot. Credos walks towards him and calls him, "O you wise and intelligent mind of demons. From today onwards, you'll lead the farm corp as the chief leader." Hartok thinks the idea is dumb, as his intellect is just to kill and steal. Credos shouts at the demons to show some respect to the elite of the demons, and everyone begins to chant elite at Hartok. Hartok looked like he was mad at the dumb and inferior demon idiots, but he switched up and told them to just follow him properly from now on. He decides that he'll just lead for a bit. And just like that, Credos managed to trick another demon general into becoming a farmer. The demons rejoice at the fact that Hartok is going to help them now. The system informs Credos that he has achieved victory in 4 psychological battles. Credos is confused for a moment. So the system explains that he saw through Bale's neglected heart and turned him into a loyal subordinate. Even Credos is shocked that he did that. He gave the friendless Azurat a friend and reduced his violence. He melted the heart of Sergi, who had never once been loved. Credos thinks that is good for her, even though he doesn't know what that has to do with him. Finally, he instilled confidence in Hartok, who has only wanted recognition. Credos wonders why they all have such fragile hearts. He has earned 200 happy points, and he may now unlock a new skill called the Blood Eye. Credos thinks this Blood Eye skill was not part of the game, just like the Farmer's Throne. The system explains that the skill has the ability to see a short glimpse of the future of the target. He is observing currently. He can see up to 6 hours ahead. Kratos thinks that the target he is observing could be a living creature or an object. His eyes brighten up when the system informs him that he can observe even the sky. He grins as he realizes that he has the weather forecast. Somewhere between the forsaken lands of the demon race and the human territory, there's a village of the exiled. We see Lloyd and Javier's clones. Lord Rivage tells Dial that he has fully recovered now, and Dial is relieved to hear that. Rivage thanks Dial for taking good care of him. He wishes to be born with a sturdier body in his next life, and Dial wants to become rich and a noble with money who can boss people around. While looking at the story of the greatest real estate developer, it seems they both got their wishes. Back to the story, Rivage laughs and tells Dial that he guesses it's a dream he won't be able to fulfill even in the next life. He then turns to inform aged Kimchi that they plan on returning to the kingdom now. Does he plan on going with them? Kimchi just says he is honestly not sure. As he mentioned before, he doesn't even remember who he is. He didn't live among the humans either, so he was no family. Even when he first came to this village, the villagers didn't exactly welcome him. He wonders if anyone would accept someone like him. The two look at him silently, and Rivage suggests he wear different clothes. They find a cloth to cover him while they are leaving because they think he still refuses to take off his hideous outfit. Maybe it's a garment he is really attached to, they think. But aged Kimchi knows that the clothes are not normal because even though he wants to take them off, they won't come off. It's like they're a part of his body. Rivage thanks the village chief for their kindness. He knows living in such a place, simply for being descendants of exiles, is too cruel. He promises that when he returns to the king, he will surely tell him about their story. Kimchi thinks that, for a noble who came by royal order to scout near demon territory, he has no unnecessary pride and is respectful and decent. He wonders what kind of person was he. He remembers part of his past, where he ruthlessly slayed demons just because of the call of duty, simply repeating slaughter over and over again. Someone like him, what else can he do besides killing? In the demon realm, the workers are surprised because some of the plants have sprouted. They become excited because of this. Even Ball and Sergi get excited seeing this. Flute ever goes to inform Lord Azurat about this, and he yells at her, as usual. Kratos arrives with the baby dragon and Hartok, and tells the workers to move to the next phase, earthing up. He calls the genius chief, Cultivator Hartok, to explain it to them. Hartok quickly explains that earthing up means covering the stem of the sprout slightly with soil. It's to prevent the young potatoes from being exposed to sunlight. If they are exposed to sunlight, they will change color, lose flavor, or even become toxic. You could call this potato darkening. Kratos tells everyone to give Hartok applause. He then looks up to check the weather forecast. He invested 200 happy points into the weather, forecast ability, and Bloody Eyes gets enhanced. The activation condition is to stare without blinking for 20 seconds. As he is staring, he realizes just how exhausting it is and starts crying. The workers just assume he is crying because he's happy the sprouts are growing too. The system informs him that he is using the skill Bloody Eyes to foresee the sky's future. Over the next 6 hours, it will mostly be sunny and dry. You might want to bring out the humidifier. Kratos gets happy and tells the baby dragon to rest up since there will be no razor winds today. Zeph calls Kratos to give an urgent report. Apparently a subordinate of the second Star Master, Planus, has arrived. In the castle, Laploa, a loyal retainer of the second Star Master Planus, greets the Demon Lord. The tree fella explains that, right after they received the ceasefire order and the farming message, Third Star Master, Ruster launched a full assault on them. He said, the Demon Lord has weakened, so he shall be the new Demon Lord. Kratos thinks that all these damn demon bastards are all the same. Zeph tells him that if Ruster subjugates the second Star Master and they join forces, they wouldn't be able to hold them off easily. Kratos knows that while their levels might be lower, there be too many of them. Then they must go before the second Star Master fully falls and defeat the other Star Master quickly. But they can't leave the farming work abandoned for too long. The region under attack by the third Star Master is the bottomless abyss of the dead, also known as the Swamp of Decay. Compared to the game map, it's about 10 times bigger in reality and ridiculously far. The abandoned well, which handles power-ups and warps in the game, could have helped, but even the well beneath the Demon Lord's castle isn't functioning. How can they balance both farming and fighting? But then he realizes, why is he worrying about this too much? He's the freaking Demon Lord. The final boss doesn't personally go out anyway. He calls Sergei and Ball, who agree to go and deal with the situation. Immediately, two of the loyal 4 heavenly demon generals head out to battle with the troops. Some strong but low IQ demons, which make them useless for farming, will go with them. Since they're coming from the boss area, the shortcut system is fully connected, and there's a quick route that leads straight to the Swamp of Decay. Credo stays behind with Hartok and focuses entirely on raising potatoes. All will be well. At the Swamp of Decay, Planus knees before Ruster, defeated. He calls him a scoundrel and asks how he dares to defy the Demon Lord's command and commit treason. Third Star Master, Ruster approaches Second Star Master, Planus, who will be known as I Am Groot in coming chapters, and tells him he rebelled because the Demon Lord left him with no other choice. Stopping the war now would only lead the demon race to ruin. Planus tries to argue that the Lord said he could make the land fertile and they wouldn't need to wage war on humans to feed themselves anymore. That is exactly the problem Ruster has with the plan, because he believes fighting bravely is the pride of their demon race, their history. But before he can strike Planus with his weapon is knocked out of his hand by an axe. He turns around, only to see Ball and Sergei angrily walking towards him. Sergei asks if he is Ruster, and she tells him that they're a race that fights. They love fighting and enjoy killing, but when did they become like this? Why did things turn out like this? Flute runs home to call her dad to come to the field quickly. Sergei continues to explain to Ruster that finally now they understand that saving lives, rather than taking them, can give them even greater pride. In the fields, the land of death, while used to be a barren land, is finally filled with flowers and grass. Everyone around becomes extremely emotional, even Azurat. Flute runs to the Demon Lord and excitedly tells him that she has never seen anything like this before. And Credo smiles,